Did someone make a bet with Triple H saying, I bet you can't make all the things that Vince McMahon ruined great again, because holy crap, this King of the Ring is already stacking up to be sweet. I mean, the matches, the angles, so far, perfect. I'm definitely loving it. Now, I do think that the only hiccup was time constraints. I feel Raw ran out of time because there was another advertised match. Rey Mysterio Jr. was supposed to, well, just Rey Mysterio, sorry. Rey Mysterio was supposed to fight Kofi Kingston. They did not get into it. And if you look at the last match, Gunther, when he beat Sheamus, it literally, he didn't even beat him with his specialty move, and it went right to the end credits. Bye, see you, goodbye. And so I really do think that they ran out of time, but it doesn't matter. It was still a really good King of the Ring, and I'm impressed. So far, I'm impressed and excited. They just had the King of the Ring like last year or the year before, and really, no shade to Xavier Woods, but very unmemorable King. Even though we did have a cool scene last week when Gunther beat Kofi, there was this moment that nobody really picked up on, except for Conan on Keeping It 100, but I picked it up too, Conan, so I'm not just like stealing off you, but I want to throw it out there that Conan picked it up. Gunther, actually, he pins Xavier, and he makes the motion of taking the crown off and putting it on his head, and really, nobody picked up on it, the announcers or anything, so really cool scene there. But I don't think it was Xavier's fault. I think it was just, he was a victim of Vince McMahon. Not that Xavier himself was a victim, but good ideas are a victim of Vince McMahon. Let's just move on from the Vince era. We're Paul Levesque, Triple H right now, and Triple H makes the Intercontinental title awesome again, and now he's making King of the Ring awesome. Just so far, it starts off right away great. We have Finn Balor actually able to talk and reference how he's a prince that's going to become a king. They also talked about how he was the first Universal Champion, and he's like saying, ha ha ha, Drew McIntyre's out, I get a pass, a bye, but nope. So they have an angle right away, a storyline right away, entering into the King of the Ring, saying, no, you do not get a pass, but Jey Uso gets to come in, and Jey Uso gets the win. Oh man, this is kind of like, I kind of wish Jey Uso wasn't in here, because main event Jey Uso needs to start winning main events, and honestly, I don't think he's going to win the King of the Ring, so he's just being set up to lose. But then again, it looks like Drew McIntyre is going to cost him the victory, so I'm okay with that. A story within the tournament is a great thing to have, because we don't want just a tournament. A tournament by itself is boring, right? You can have great matches. You should have great matches within the tournament, but you also have to have story. Wrestling is something that encompasses so many things, and storytelling, emotions, and athleticism, they all combine. That's something that AEW doesn't understand. You can't just have a tournament and say, that's great TV. No, you have to have storylines involved. So Jey Uso wins, but they set up Drew McIntyre, gonna cost him probably the next match, which is okay. That I can deal with. If Jey Uso has to lose, because then he gets into a program with Drew McIntyre, but then Drew McIntyre has to win that program because he's on fire. He's on fire. I just don't want Jey Uso to lose anymore. I just want him to... He should have won the belt. He should have won that belt. But regardless, we're talking about the King of the Ring. So, first match, great. Storyline involved. I hate that Finn Balor lost. I need to do my why the WWE is wasting Finn Balor, how they have failed Finn Balor video still, but that's another subject. We're talking King of the Ring. Jey Uso, first match, great. The next match was Ilya Dragunov versus Ricochet, and this one really surprised me. This was match of the night. Now, I know Ricochet's good. I know he's actually even great, but usually they don't allow him to have matches. Really, he's there for a couple flips, and then he loses. He got a match with Logan Paul, but that's because they wanted some viral moment to happen with Logan Paul. But for the most part, Ricochet's there to take big bumps, for his body to fold in half, and to do one or two flips, and to have matches under 3 minutes on Twitter. And then when Dragunov, who I've heard a lot of things about, I'm going to make a confession, I don't really watch NXT. I really don't. I hear of NXT, I know kind of sort of what's going on with the major players, but I don't really know NXT. I have a full-time job, I get my kids, and it's just like, I don't have time. Now, if you subscribe to this channel and we make this my full-time gig, well, I promise you I'll become the biggest NXT mark there is, and I'll talk NXT all day long if I can have the time to afford me the luxury of being able to do that, and then I'll talk more and more, and I'll for sure have a video on every day, but we got to get to that point where this is a monetized channel and stuff like that. You get what I'm saying? But regardless, even if it doesn't ever come that way, I'm going to still be making videos and building this community up, but I probably won't have time for NXT as much as I do. But let's talk about Dragunov. He really impressed me. He did really impress me. Now, there is something to say about the fact that you got this newcomer coming in, and he has a very competitive match with somebody who is mid-card. I would have thought that they would have had him kind of steamroll people, but that may be more of a Braun Breaker type of thing. I'm really happy with this match, honestly. I've heard that Dragunov can make anyone look good, but the thing about it that made me think that he was just going to steamroll Ricochet is because Dragunov and Gunther, they've gone to war with each other, so I kind of figured that Dragunov was just going to kind of steamroll Ricochet so they can set up that inevitable battle between those two. But then again, Ricochet did fight Gunther too and took him to the limit. I think Dragunov and Gunther are kind of like Bret the Hitman Hart's, where they can make anyone look good and it doesn't hurt them. They can have a long match, whether you win, lose, kind of like when he fought the 1-2-3 Kid on Raw. It's like somehow, some way, Bret Hart as champion made us think that someone named the 1-2-3 Kid was gonna win the title, and that's kind of what happened with Dragunov. It was just like, wow, I really believed that Ricochet could do it for a second, and not one time did Dragunov really look weak, and he always kept that intensity going, and so that was really good. So this match served as an introduction, and it served as your pure wrestling. They even shook hands after, so it's like Dragunov's a good guy, and which is great because it sets up the battle between Gunther eventually. And yeah, so like overall, this was your AEW just really good, awesome tournament match. I'm all for it. Like I said, wrestling's about multiple things, but good matches are one of them. Now we go to the match that had it all. Good wrestling, good characters, good story, good interviews. We had history here. Sheamus versus Gunther because, again, they ran out of time. Probably we didn't get Rey Mysterio versus Kofi. But now we're at Gunther versus Sheamus. They talked. They both had little interview segments. We had a package, how Gunther beat Sheamus. We talked about how Sheamus could never win the Intercontinental title, the only title that has eluded him from Gunther, and they're fighting. And let me tell you something, I did a video about a week or two ago, probably 2 or 3 weeks ago actually, is Sheamus fat? He's getting in shape every week. He's coming out, so I just want to throw out some props for Sheamus, not bitching and moaning about, oh, you body shamed me. Nope. At the gym, baby, at the gym. Gosh, Sheamus, I wish you were my workout buddy. You could body shame me, Sheamus, because I need to get to the gym like you. Anyway, so we have Gunther versus Sheamus. Banger after banger after banger they've had and they will have to the end of time, and this was one of them as well. Great match. I do feel, like I said in the earlier part of the video, that it did get cut short because at one point his leg is injured, and that was a really great way. Gunther's henchman hurt the leg, was kicked out, and it was like, what? I didn't do nothing. And then there was a moment, again, you gotta really watch Gunther in the ring in these really subtle moments. Gunther smiles and it's like, yeah, you did good. And his henchman's like, yep, okay, cool. And then he runs off. And then we have the rest of the match. And Gunther just starts targeting that leg. And he just wins with like a half Boston Crab, which was kind of weird. And then he got his hand raised, the graphic came up, and they were like, okay, bye. It was cut short, but it still worked. And it's kind of cool sometimes when it's not the finisher that takes out the opponent, and it was just a leg injury. And not just a leg injury, but, you know, in real life, a leg injury is, like, huge. And they really played it. There's psychology. It just worked, right? And plus, he's the ring general. He saw a weakness, and he targeted it, just like Bret the Hitman Hart going full circle there. And I really do think that this was just a great match. Gunther, I believe, is definitely 100% going to be the winner. When Drew McIntyre was in this, I was like 50-50. Who's going to win? Is it going to be Drew? Is it going to be Gunther? But now, I really do believe it's Gunther. I hope he doesn't come with the crown, unless he does an emperor. Maybe I'm from Europe, so I'm the emperor. Maybe Yeah, he just say the ring general. He could be like kind of like what Brock Lesnar did. Win the crown, but he doesn't have to go full blown like Booker T did, even though I loved King Booker. I love King Booker, but I really think Gunther should just go the route of, you know, Stone Cold Steve Austin / Brock Lesnar. Just, yeah, I told you I would do it, now I'm going to kick butt. But keep Gunther a bad guy like you did with Brock, not send him to the moon like he did with Stone Cold Steve Austin. This is really shaping up to be awesome. I do apologize that I didn't even touch on the Queen of the Ring. So far, I'm not really invested in it. I hope to be invested. There were some, the matches were okay, but nothing really stood out to me, so I'm going to keep watching. If something does, then I will. But I will say Liv Morgan rolling out of the ring when Damage Control surrounded them, that was brilliant. That was awesome. I did love that. I do hope that the Queen of the Ring does start picking up steam, and maybe on SmackDown it will. But regardless, King of the Ring, so far, so good. Can't wait to see what they do on SmackDown. Triple H, another home run thus far. I really hoping that this King of the Ring elevates somebody to that next level. Guys, I really appreciate you. I'm going to edit this real quick, throw it up, go to bed. I love that Triple H is acknowledging how important the King of the Ring is, just like I hope you acknowledge the subscribe button. Like I said, I'm trying to do videos every single day. I want to watch more content. I want to talk about more content with you, but I've got a job. And 6 hours sleep is starting to affect me. I might have to skip a thing or two, so I hope to keep the schedule going with the videos, but if I miss a day or two, I know you'll forgive me because you guys rock. You guys are awesome. Thank you, and good night, good day, whatever time it is. Have a good one.